Good evening. How everybody's doing? I'm going to try to make a quick video on a question that I got on my YouTube page, which I was kind of surprised because I don't have many subscribers, maybe 9 if that. Most of them are family, a couple here in the Philippines, but not too many. But the question was, why do I have so many pets? I guess they see them on the video. I have 5 dogs, 2 birds, and a fish. I really don't have a direct answer for that, but I thought that would be a pretty cool video to basically introduce each one and how they came about of being part of the family. So I got the dogs in the house now. The girls are usually outside. They're my Filipino dogs. But I brought them in because our fence was being painted and the gate, I can't close it, and I make sure my gates are closed and the dogs don't run around loose. So they have a good excuse to be in the house. But I figured I want to try to do a quick video on who my pets are and how they came about. So first I'll start off with this one here, who's pretty much inseparable with me, and this is Kilo. He's my Maltese. Right, Kilo Kilo? He's 7 years old now, and I actually brought him from the States to here when me and my wife decided to retire. How I got him is he actually belonged to my middle son and his ex-wife. And when they were going through separation, my son moved in back in the house with us, and his ex-wife obviously moved in with her parents. And Chris, my son, brought Kilo home with him. At the time, we had 2 dogs. I think we had a golden retriever. She was, I think, 7 years old at the time. And we had a miniature dachshund. She was 4 years old at the time. And Kilo was just a puppy. He was not even a year old yet. So he moved in with us, and then my son didn't really want him anymore, and my ex-daughter-in-law, she didn't want him anymore, so that's how I got him. And he's been with me ever since, and we're pretty much inseparable. Even when I was an over-the-road truck driver, Kilo here, he went to work with me every time, and we were out on the road together, and pretty much my best buddy. My wife jokes at saying that when I die, he's probably going to be buried with me, because he doesn't leave my side. Wherever I go, he goes. I go in the bathroom, he follows me. I go in the bedroom, he follows me. Everywhere I go, he pretty much follows me. And he don't really want to associate with the other dogs. So that's how I got Kilo. And then the next one is Dude. Right, Dude? Dude is actually Kilo's son. He's 6 years old now, and how he came about was my miniature dachshund that I had. She was a female. She was 4 years old, like I said, when my son moved in the house with Kilo. I believe Kilo was maybe 9 months old, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together, and Kilo wasn't fixed, and my dachshund wasn't fixed, but I noticed she was getting fat. So I took Val, which was my dachshund, to the vet, and he kind of laughed and joked with me and told me, your dog's pregnant, which I couldn't figure it out because Val never ran out and got loose. And we had a 3-acre property, and when they went outside, I went outside, because we had coyotes where we lived and hawks where we lived. And since Val was a small dog, I made sure when I went out with her, when she went out, I went out with her. But when I told him about my son living with us with his dog, and the doc kind of laughed and said, well, that's your first suspect. Well, Val had 5 healthy puppies, 4 boys and 1 girl, and we kept Dude here. He was the runt of the group, and the only one that pretty much resembled Kilo with the fur. All the others were short hair like the mom, or smooth coat like the mom. Dude here, come here, Dude, come here, was the only one that had the little terrier look going with them, or the Maltese look here, the eyes and so forth. And my youngest son, I think he was 16 at the time, fell in love with Dude, so that's why we kept him. Because we had a dog named Charlie before before I think Kilo moved in with us. We had Charlie. He passed away. He was 17 years old, and we got Charlie when my youngest son was just a baby. So they grew up together. And when he passed away, my youngest son, which is Jeremy, took it pretty hard, and he fell for this dude here. Right, dude? Dude, come here, baby. I'm trying to show you. So, and I promised Jeremy that I'll never get rid of him. And my son Jeremy, he went off and joined the Navy, and obviously can't take dude with him, so we kept him, and I'm not gonna go away on my promise. So when we moved to the Philippines, he came with us as well. And my son is still in the Navy, and we still have dude. Val, sadly, is when we decided to retire here. Val was 10 years old, dachshund, and I wanted to bring her, but you know, my vet recommended not to because of her age, and of course I went and got a second opinion and a third opinion. They all said the same thing. She was healthy, they just didn't recommend that kind of flight on a dog her age. So I gave Val to my mother, and then like 6 months later, my mother lived in an apartment building for, you know, like a retirement community, and they changed their pet policy. You had 90 days either to move out or get rid of your pet, because people weren't cleaning up after their dogs, and other neighbors were complaining. Even though my mom cleaned up after Val, you know, you get one bad apple and it ruins it for everybody. So I begged my mom to contact. I used to volunteer at a dachshund rescue when I was in the States, and I begged my mom to contact them. I even contacted them as well, to make sure Val didn't get put in a shelter. And the rescue, of course, they wonderful people. Midwest Dachshund Rescue is what they're called. They took Val in, and they found her a wonderful family. And she's living with 2 other dachshunds. She's still alive now. She's 14 years old now. She's still alive and doing well. They say she's just like a puppy still. But she's living with that wonderful family in Wisconsin with 2 other dachshunds and doing quite well. But that's how Dude came about. It was the surprise between Kilo here and my miniature dachshund. And they had the 5 puppies, and we kept one. Now let me go to my Filipino dogs, which is, here's Brownie. When we first moved to the Philippines, we moved into my mother-in-law's house, which is in the province. And my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law also live there. They don't have, those are 2 of my wife's siblings that's never been married, don't have any kids, and they still live in the mother-in-law's house even to this day. Well, he had 2 dogs, both males, and he still has them even now. But there's a white female dog who hung around the house, but he said it wasn't his. And then there was Brownie here, and he also said it wasn't his. So his dogs were clean and healthy and taken care of, but the white dog, it wasn't skinny, but she was very dirty because my brother-in-law didn't really take care of her. It's just when he fed his dogs, she was there to eat as well. But my brother-in-law said the white dog was Brownie's mother here. Now I guess Brownie's mother had a reputation of, when she had puppies, she basically just killed them, you know, ate them or killed them or what have you. And Brownie was also on the bad end of the deal on that. I guess when Brownie was a puppy, I guess the mom tried to kill her, and she got her side ripped open, but they never took her to the vet. She healed on her own, but she was very, very timid. And when me and my wife moved in my mother-in-law's house, Brownie was very, very, very skinny. She had mange, and since she was so timid, you know, she didn't really get the fair end of the deal on the food. You know, the female wouldn't let her eat, and of course my brother-in-law's dogs wouldn't let her eat. But that changed when I moved in. When I moved in, I made sure Brownie got food. She was afraid of me for like the first 3 months, but I'll put the food next to me, and I made sure the other dogs didn't get none. Only she got it, and then she realized I wasn't such a bad guy, and then she'll sit next to me and eat, but she wouldn't let me touch her. She'll just eat and sit next to me, and then she'll lay down, take a nap next to me, and finally she started getting on my lap, and now she's the sweetest dog in the world. I mean, really sweet. The biggest heart you can think of. We've had her ever since. And we moved here to the city. We was renting a house, and I asked my wife I wanted to bring her along. Now, when we were in the province, Brownie got pregnant and had a litter of 2 puppies the first time. which I gave to my sister-in-law who lives not far from us here. And then right before we moved to the city, apparently Brownie said goodbye to all the male dogs, because her first 2 puppies looked just like her, same little tiger pattern going on here. But the second batch, before we moved here, she had 5 puppies, and one was black, one was white, one was blonde, and then the other 2 were like her, tiger pattern. Well, we kept one of those puppies, and that's where Capri comes in. She's the blonde, I guess you could say. My wife calls it a dumb blonde because she isn't the brightest dog in the world. How Capri? But she's very playful, very friendly, and I think she's a very pretty dog. And when she was a puppy, she had the brightest blue eyes. That's why I named her Capri, after the Capri Islands off of Italy. But they changed. Now they're just a light brown. Probably can't see because it's dark. But her eyes changed and they went to brown. But she's still a Capri. And she's a big baby. Well, she's one of the puppies from Brownie's second litter. And since we moved here, and like I said, we got a fenced-in yard. I don't let my dogs run loose through the neighborhood, even though some people around here do. My dogs don't. And I got only females who stay outside. And the Brownie hasn't been pregnant since we moved here. Capri's never been pregnant. She's about 1.5 years old now. So she's doing good. And then there's our newest addition, which is Angel here. Now, Angel is our street dog. We've had her maybe 2 months now, maybe. Now, when we got her, she's probably maybe 6 weeks old. And like I said, my sister-in-law, who lives not far from us, her neighbor across the street, her dog had puppies. And Angel was one of those puppies. Now, all the puppies, I guess here in the Philippines, even though your dog has puppies, they don't really take it personally to take care of the puppies. The owner of the mother dog, they just let the dogs run loose and fend for themselves. Well, the mother pretty much disowned Angel because she was so, when we got her, she was skinny, no fur hardly at all, full of ticks, full of fleas. And my wife brought her here. I don't know, I think my wife, for over an hour, she's taking ticks out of her ears. Gave her a bath, cleaned her up. Now, the first vet visit we took her to, let me turn on another light, it's still kind of dark. The first vet visit we took her to, the vet really didn't do anything because she said she was too weak and wasn't able to give her any medication at that time. But we did buy some medicated soap to give her a bath, and we did that. And then like a week later, we brought her back to the vet, and that's where we got her deworming, her 5-in-1 shot, and I think total of 4 vet visits we went. Us with the rabies shot, and I guess gave them some vitamins and stuff like that. And now she's a healthy little girl. Now, my wife's intention was, in the beginning, was to get her healthy and then take her back to my sister-in-law's neighborhood and just give her back to the owner, which I didn't think that made sense. Why would you do that? Spend time. It's not really a lot of money that we spent on her. I think maybe a total of 1,000 pesos for everything, for all 4 vet visits, medication. So it's not that expensive. It's just people just don't take the time to do it. But it didn't make sense to me to take her back and then she'll just run around the neighborhood and get pregnant every 6 months and have more puppies just running around the streets, and I was like, nah, we're not going to do that. So I asked my wife if I can keep her, and that's how we got her. Now, she's got the prettiest bluish green eyes. To me, she looks like the Philippine version of an Australian Shepherd. She's really, really smart. But that's how we got Angel. Now, that's my 5 dogs. Now, the other animals I have, I'll turn the light on. And there's Kilo behind me, following me. We got Einstein here. Here's my flower horn. Now, my wife got me Einstein and the fish tank, I guess you could say, for our wedding anniversary. It was our 29th wedding anniversary last year. Well, this past September. And that's how I acquired Einstein. Now I had a 55-gallon tank before this, and I had tropical fish in it. You know, mollies, guppies. But you know, they'll die off, and then I replace them, and they'll die off, and I replace them. So my wife wanted to do the same. When she bought me this tank, she wanted to do the same thing, just put tropical fish in it. I was like, well, no, I really don't want to do that, because, you know, it's time consuming. This is a bigger tank. This is a 120-gallon tank. I was like, I don't want to fill that up with tropical fish, and then, you know, that's going to be cost more time consuming, and I was like, no, I want to get something else. I want to get a 120-gallon tank. I want to get a fish that's noticeable. And me, I went to a couple the flower horn. That's what Einstein is. Flower horn. I went to a couple flower horn shows here in the city. I thought it was pretty interesting. These guys have personality. They'll let you pet them. When you feed them, you can sometimes they'll let you eat out of your hand. The only thing with these guys is they are really aggressive. You can't have anything else in the tank with them, or they'll pretty much kill it. So I either wanted to get a flower horn here or an arowana. And arowanas, when I researched them, you know, they're called monkey fish in the wild because they basically jump if they see something out of the water, like a bug or a small bird or what have you. They'll jump out of the water and get it. And then I saw some videos where an arowana jumped out of their tank in the Philippines because they saw one of those little lizards, and they jump up trying to get the lizard, and then, you know, you wake up the next morning and your arowana is dead on the floor. So I didn't want to deal with that. And plus they get really big. You know, 120-gallon tank probably just wouldn't be enough space for them to get, because they get real big. Now the flower horn, they get I read like 16 inches in length, some of them. Now I guess Einstein here is a short body flower horn, and they lived about 6 years old or so. Now Einstein here, he's just a little over, he's just a year old now. When we got him, he was 10 months old. I've had him for, well, he's a year old. We've had him for about 2 months now. But that's how I acquired Einstein. Now, I guess in the States, these guys cost quite a bit. My son in Chicago said he saw some there in a pet store for between $400 and $500. You know, the size of Einstein here. Einstein's probably about 12 inches in length now. And my son in California, which I think he saw too many zeros, he said he saw one in California for $3,000. It was probably $300, but he said $3,000. Now Einstein here, when we first acquired him, it was my nephew's friend who had him, and he wanted 4,000 pesos. Well, I stayed out of the loop because, you know, usually when I see a foreigner or hear about a foreigner, the price goes up even higher. So I let my nephew and my wife deal with the negotiating, and, you know, my wife said no, and for about a week or so, you know, he kept lowering the price. It went from 4,000 to 3,200, and from 3,200 to 2,800, and then 2,800 to 2,000. And I guess the final price where we got him was 1,200. That's the final price we got him for. So, like I said, he does have personality, but he is real aggressive. So he won't be have no fish tank mates. Even when I try to clean the tank, you know, he's bit me a couple times. He lets my wife pet him on top of the head. He won't let me, but he lets my wife. So, but he's a good boy. It's probably too dark, but the final pets I have, I got 3 birds. It's probably dark, and yeah, it's dark out now. Yeah, it's too dark to show down. But I got the 3 birds over here. I got 2 lovebirds. Well, 2 lovebirds in one cage, and another lovebird in another cage. And my nephew my one nephew made the cage for me. It's a, you know, beautiful handmade cage. Right, see, wait a minute. Here, let me turn the light off. It's nighttime, buddy. I've already fed you dinner, so you're good. Hi, Capri. Come on, guys. Anybody else? Come on. But I got the 3 lovebirds. We actually bought 2 of them at a market. You know, they have, you know, some in the small cages. I bought 2 lovebirds, a couple. I think it's 400 pesos for the pair. What was it, 3 years ago maybe? And the one died last year. So I got another one for her. So I got her a partner. So I got one orange and yellow lovebird, one green lovebird with with the brown hair, and then I got another lovebird. He's also green with an orange top. Hey, what are you barking at?